Hello and welcome to Call of Cthulhu. Casper, you'll be looking for this. You can't afford many games, but this is the cheapest one, so it's next on your list. It's definitely understandable, Casper. That's for sure. Alright, so I've played this a few times before. I've gotten all the endings before. What I want to do with this playthrough is something that I haven't done before, and that is to leave certain decisions in the game up to the viewers. So it's not dialogue choices. I still choose what dialogue choices, unless there's a dialogue choice which is to speak in the language, I think it's Rillian or something like that, but I'll direct people and let them know when there's going to be a poll. So that's the way I'm going to run it. There'll be a poll that I'll create for each choice, and that means whatever ending we get is the ending we get. So whatever choices get decided upon at each point that I put a poll up to make a decision will ultimately affect what ending we actually get at the end of the game. So what I want to do is actually put that as a pinned message up to the top of chat so that people coming in can see what type of things going on, and there might be some points where I'll have to pause the game to stop the timer, because there's some choices that you have to make a decision within a matter of a few moments as well. So I'll just get that sorted and we'll jump into it.
You see, in this world, there's two kinds of people, my friend. Those with loaded guns, and those who dig. You dig.
Those with loaded guns and those who dig. You dig. I've actually forgotten what movie that's from. Thanks for redeeming that, Casper. Honey Lil, thank you so very much for the lurk. I really do appreciate that. Just set things up on my side. Okay. Check settings. I want to put detection back on. Casper, that's from a Western with Clint Eastwood. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Ah, yes. That's a good one, that one. It's just something else I need to sort. Awesome. Okay, so we're going to do a new game. The other day I was testing to see, because I was thinking of what type of playthrough to do, and sometimes actually playing the game for a little bit helps me think of what kind of thing I want to do, and I decided to do a viewer choice one. So I'll delete this. There we go. Chapter 1, Pierce Investigations Agency, Boston. Boston, 1924. Edward Pierce, veteran of the First World War, drowns his memories in liquor and sleeping pills. He is now a private detective who has trouble finding a case able to lift him from his torpor. Pierce must find a new case quickly or risk losing his license. So this is another game where the main character is played by Anthony Howe. Recently I did a playthrough of Alien Isolation, in which he plays the android Samuels. And I also did a playthrough of the game called Vampire, in which he plays the main character, Dr. Jonathan Reed. And I figured, hey, may as well do a trilogy of Anthony Howe starring games, and here we are with Call of Cthulhu, in which he plays the main character, Edward Pierce. So there's his IMDb, and as we go through the game, I'll put up the IMDb for all the other people who are involved in this game. And this game actually came out the same year as Vampire as well. Casper, next one is Elden Ring, because he is in that too. I know he's in that, Casper, but I won't be playing Elden Ring next, that's for sure. If I finish this game before Wednesday, I have to pick another game to fit in between this and Tomb Raider 1 Remastered. Casper, lurking, don't want any spoilers even though you've watched bits of previous playthroughs. Understandable. Thank you for leaving the lurk, Casper. In this playthrough, I won't be reading absolutely everything, but I will be reading chapter intros. I'll be reading about certain specific key items and also key sort of like character stuff, but I won't be reading about all the locations and all that kind of stuff.
In my wake, pulled along, fate inescapably draws you on. What a putrid offering.
I like how you can hear the warped sound of the song that Edward Pierce is actually listening to. That's interrupting this dream that he's having.
Don't fight. You have been chosen. Behold. Everything has already been written. But perhaps you will attempt to change your destiny.
I hate whiskey. Natural sciences, linguistics, archaeology. I should get rid of all this stuff. A good old story of blackmail in a speakeasy.
The bar owner who hired me didn't like the way I closed this case, but when you're already outside the law, there's not a lot one can do against a private detective who's got proof against you.
The Wentworth Agency doesn't attract top-notch cases. I used to be an avid reader. Been too long since I've slept in a bed. The Lost Battalion. Holding your position and obeying orders. That isn't courage. I wonder why I still take these things.
The doctors prescribed them when I returned from the war. They swore that they would put an end to the nightmares, but for a while now, their effect has been wearing off.
Been a while since I jotted down something other than my nightmares.
Pierce Investigation Agency. The doctor can well repeat to me that I no longer need my remedy to keep my memories at bay, but I know that if I stop, the memories will return. One of these mornings I probably won't wake up. Despite the treatment, I again hear voices in my dreams, but they are different, unknown. They seem to surface from unfathomable and ancient depths. What nameless creature is calling me? Alright, so here is a decision that can impact the ending. And so, I'm going to set up a poll for viewers to decide what we actually do, whether we take a drink or not. Alright, so I'm going to leave the poll open for 2 minutes. And the question is, drink alcohol, yes or no? Alright, so we had one vote, and that was to drink. So we drink.
I'm listening.
Are you Edward Pierce? Private investigator contracted by the Wentworth Detective Agency?
That's correct.
Hello, Mr. Pierce. I'm Lucy Sherrifield, in charge of investigators over at Wentworth. I'm calling because of a problem with your file. A fire has destroyed some of our documents.
Is that right?
I'm so very sorry, but I have to collect your personal information yet again.
Stan, let's see how much one vote changes. Yeah, some decisions in this game will go towards an ending. And at this point, given that choice that we've been presented with so far, we are already going towards one particular ending. Okay, so when it comes to character points and what we actually put it into, I'm the one that decides this kind of stuff.
Thank you for this information, Mr. Pierce. Our files will soon be up to date. And on a related matter, may I raise a sensitive question?
What's wrong?
As you know, we wish to closely monitor the progress of our contractors. And it would seem you've been accepting fewer new cases.
Work is scarce.
Mr. Pierce, you know as well as I do there's never been more investigative work than now.
But are those cases worth it?
They're worth not losing your license. Show yourself worthy of the Wentworth Detective Agency, and we might keep you on the payroll. Mr. Pierce, are you still...
I'm coming.
Sir, I came here on the advice of a person whom I hold in high esteem, and I must say that I expected anything but a drunkard's lair.
You're free to leave anytime, sir.
Do you know to whom you speak?
Stephen Webster, industrialist and art collector. All of Boston knows you.
Tell me, Mr. Pierce, are you capable of handling a new case, or are you simply a deadbeat inebriate?
If you come to me, it means you're desperate.
Nobody believes me. They take me for an old fool. Sarah, my little girl, she is dead. Even you must know of her. She was Sarah Hawkins.
The painter? Yes. Everyone knows her work.
The police accuse her of killing her family. They all died in a fire. Sarah, her husband, and Simon, my grandson.
I can't do anything for a woman who is already dead.
Find out the truth. They say she was mad, but I know that's a lie. She would never have done such a thing.
But if you have no proof...
I've brought all that I have. Look. I want you to look carefully at this painting. Tell me all the assumptions that come to mind.
What am I supposed to find?
Tell me if this is the work of madness. Or if, on the contrary, you manage to detect some logic, a rationality to follow so that I may understand it.
Is that all you want from me?
Yes, please.
All right. I'll look at your picture. That's all you've got? The painting?
I placed a file on your desk. It contains everything I have on the affair.
A warehouse on Darkwater. Some sketches of the Hawkins family. Rather thin.
Stan, can you imagine if we were able to make choices in real life? Yeah, just imagine it. Just imagine being in a world where things happen because people decide to make things happen. Whether they wanted that thing to happen or not sometimes. A shipping label. Some of it is unreadable, but I can make out part of the address. Warehouse 36, Darkwater. The police report. It says that the fire started in the dining room and claimed the whole family. The police decide on a domestic accident, but they, nevertheless, insist on Sarah Hawkins' mental frailty. Why? A press cutting. An article written about the marriage of Sarah and Charles Hawkins, a businessman from the island of Darkwater. They live a recluse life there with their only son, Simon.
What's this symbol on the man's chest? It's as if Sarah Hawkins breathed a message into it.
So, Mr. Pierce, what do you make of these elements?
The meaning could be exactly as it appears. I think your daughter is sending you a message.
That's what I believe, too. It was 3 months ago that I received the call from the police telling me of my daughter's death. And yet a short while after, this painting was delivered to my home. The painting is linked to this case, can't you see? You must find the meaning behind all this.
You must tell me if what the police suggest about the mental state of your daughter is true.
No. Sarah had visions. Everyone knew that. She never would have hurt a fly. She only thought she saw things.
Saw things? What do you mean by that?
I never knew what she meant by that. My daughter was an enigmatic figure, Mr. Pierce. You must find out the truth about her life and death.
Stan, you played and finished Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales last week. It was really fun. Oh, that's good that you enjoyed it. Yeah, I can't wait to get to those new Spider-Man games. Well, the first one. So far. Maybe I won't like the first one and won't want to play the second one. But yeah, we'll see.
Darkwater. Never heard of the place. Where is that?
It's a small, remote island off the coast of Boston. Sarah lived there with her son and her husband.
I suppose you want to ship me off there.
Darkwater holds the secret regarding my daughter, Mr. Pierce. You must uncover it.
Not too sure, Stan. I'd like to, but I'm also wanting to do a marathon of other Spider-Man games leading up to it as well. So I'll just have to wait and see how things land.
Her husband was a big deal on the island. But the police are sticking to the accident theory. Though they mentioned Sarah's mental state was fragile. I believe you are right, sir. This case is not as simple as it appears.
I am aware of that. I believe there is more to this case than just an accident.
The sender's label mentions Warehouse 36.
That's right. It came with Sarah's last painting.
And you think your daughter could have been the sender?
That is what you must find out. Go to Darkwater. Find Warehouse 36.
I think I'm beginning to understand.
I'm willing to do anything for my daughter to recover her honor.
Quiet down. I'm on your side. Let's sum things up. An artist dies with her family in a house fire. Your only clue is a sort of promontory painting sent from Darkwater right before her death.
Correct. And the rumors about her supposed folly.
Which you don't totally deny.
Find that warehouse. Find out the truth regarding Sarah Hawkins' death. You'll be handsomely compensated.
All right. I'll take the case. I'll go to Darkwater and look into the death of your daughter.
Thank you, Mr. Pierce. I didn't expect any less coming from a man in your situation.
Something's queer. But it's not like I have a choice. Darkwater. I think I've got a book on the North Atlantic. I'll no doubt find some information on this island in there.
Stan, someone was going to do that. Who was it, lol? For some reason you thought it was me. Maybe it was Maxie or Lucinda. Well, I know that Lucinda doesn't play or watch or read comic book based stuff, so it definitely wouldn't have been Lucinda. I know that Ronnie wanted to do another playthrough of Spider-Man 2, Dr. Ronnie, but not sure about Maxie though. I don't know if he's played them all or just one of them or something. But I definitely want to play them myself. But I want to do a marathon of different Spider-Man games that I either grew up playing or that I played at some point before getting to the newer ones.
Darkwater is off the coast of Boston. But I've never heard of it. According to this book, it was often mentioned during whale hunting times at the end of the 19th century. But it seems to have been shunned since then.
Darkwater Island has been inhabited since the 14th century and is still rich with the many memories left by its lost tribes. But don't let the romanticism of these moving evidences of such naive and primitive beliefs fool you into forgetting how violent their gods were. A gigantic creature still ornates the walls of long-abandoned caves. Was it a sea or a dream god? No one knows, but today's inhabitants, the sons and daughters of the proud whale hunters, still remember the mysterious and tumultuous story of their small land off the coasts of Massachusetts.
All I have to do is go to the port. I just hope that I can find a boat able to take me to Darkwater.
Okay, so the next poll I'm going to do is whether to open this door or not. Just kidding. We have to open the door to progress the story. Chapter 2, Darkwater Port. Pierce took the Hawkins case. The cursed artist is accused of having caused the fire that killed her and her family. As the only clue, she left her father a disturbing painting. On the shipping label, an address, a warehouse set on the docks of the island of Darkwater. The place seems to be the starting point for Pierce's investigation. Stan, next poll, should Rod press the end stream button? Could you imagine? Makes me think of streamers who have channel points to turn the stream off.
We're almost there. There's guys coming to unload. Welcome to Darkwater Island, Mr. Pierce.
Why, thank you, Captain Fitzroy.
So, what wind brought you?
Does the Hawkins case mean anything to you?
A sad story that we would all prefer to forget. Charles Hawkins may have been a landlubber, but he was a good man.
And his wife, Sarah Hawkins.
A nice young woman, and a great painter. What a tragedy. You know what? Go have a drink at the Stranded Whale. What you need is a good pick-me-up. Mitchell may not be very welcoming, but his bar holds a surprise for you. As for me, you'll find me at the Harbor Master's office. If it's the Hawkins family that brings you here, I have a pile of documents that should interest you.
Understood. I'm going for a look around the docks.
Stan, it's like, because I love you so much, I collected a lot of channel points, and therefore I am ending your stream. Yeah, it's just funny, the concept. And I would assume that they start the stream back up again afterwards. But imagine if they actually ended the stream. Like, imagine being the streamer, you've set up for the day, you want to play a game, and as soon as you start the stream, someone redeems end the stream for 24 hours, and you're like, oh. That'd be crazy. On the approaches to Darkwater, I saw thick clouds masking the sky. They were so low, they seemed intent on impaling themselves on the sharp reefs that circle the island. Fitzroy, the captain of the only tub that manages to float to the mainland, offered to help me. He may have documents that belong to Charles Hawkins. Fitzroy advised me to visit the port's bar. He mentioned a little pick-me-up. I suppose I could get the lay of the land at the same time. Fishermen have gathered around the carcass of a killer whale. I could have a look and see what the local cops have got to tell me. Captain Fitzroy offered to share with me what he has found on the Hawkins in the archives of the Harbour Master's office. Stan, 1 minute into the stream. Okay, thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Bye. Exactly. You'd be like, oh, what the hell? Nightmares. Edward Pierce is a veteran of the First World War, where he took part in the Meuse-Argonne offensive. He is one of the few survivors of the Lost Battalion, American units that suffered heavy losses from enemy and Allied artillery fire. Forced to hold their position for several days, surrounded by the bodies of their fallen comrades, without food or medical supplies, the soldiers were considered as lost by their fellow countrymen. Pierce is traumatized by these events. He consumes sleeping pills and liquor to ward off the nightmares that haunt him. At the moment, his sanity is stable. Confident in your abilities and your Cartesian mind, you conduct your investigation by sticking to the facts, your convictions, and your perception of reality. Your conclusions are logical and reliable.
Hey, be careful. Let's get him another drink. He's dry.
In my bar, we don't serve troublemakers.
You saw what happened. He's the troublemaker.
Oh, you're a true mainlander. A real princess. You strut around with your la-di-da ways, and then, as soon as the pressure arises, you start squealing. You don't have what it takes to drink my whiskey. You've got to earn it.
I'm here for information, not for a fight.
I prefer it that way. Speak, then. I reserve the right to answer or not.
Hey there, Code. What is sanity? What's that? Green glow? Wee? Yeah. It's like, what is sanity? Is it in sanity? Or is it just sanity?
I didn't expect to find alcohol on this island. What's the source of this miracle?
You mean who? Our source of supply wouldn't like me to betray them to the first comer.
I'll tell nobody.
She'd know it anyway. Anything else?
The stranded whale. I guess this bar has been here a long time.
What can I tell you? I'm a nostalgic sort of guy. The name, it reminds us of the golden age of dockwater, when our whalers left for long months and came back sweating and stinking of the oil and flesh of the whales they'd been hunting.
It was a tough time, all the same.
Ah, but steeped in glory. We've never known such wealth since then.
What can you tell me about her?
We all knew she was famous on the mainland for her paintings. Never understood why. Then, I don't want to speak ill of the dead.
Her style made her famous. How would you describe it? Tortured?
Yeah, well, it wasn't normal. I mean, for a young woman with a child and all that. We saw them in the papers, and we said to ourselves, who can paint such things? Is that how she sees the world?
So they made you feel uncomfortable?
You need to see them for yourself. Make up your own mind.
Her vision. Was it so terrible?
Way I see it, the truth is really a question of point of view.
What do you mean by that?
Do you still trust the truth after a bottle of whiskey?
I've got what I need.
Anything else?
Do you know where this place is? Warehouse 36, Darkwater Harbor.
The Hawkins warehouse. I see, yeah. If I were you, I wouldn't hang around there.
Why not?
First off, there are rumors. Sailors from around here say you can hear noises coming from the warehouse at night. Screams, that sort of thing.
Screams?
And that's not all. There's the fate of its owners and all the superstitions that go with it. But I'll say no more. Anything else?
That'll be all for now.
And then he said, "You have no right to treat us like this."
And the doctor, what did he say?
He laughed.
My God.
You said it.
She will do it again, you know?
Oh,
The girl doctor. Colden. She won't stop asking.
not that again. She will get us into trouble.
I know.
And then he said, "You have no right to treat us like this."
And the doctor, what did he say?
Nightmares. Can hear things and voices whispering. Will follow its reader and appear at various locations,
Will do it again.
gifted with its own consciousness,
The girl doctor.
until it finds a new reader.
She won't stop asking.
Not that again. Ah, that's it. Maybe we should let him take it.
I know.
No, the risks are too high. It's a book, after all. Pure knowledge.
Let the police do their work. Hey, Sullivan. Can't you go any faster?
Have you seen how old this thing is? If we force it too much, we'll break everything.
You can't do that.
But it's only a fish.
A fish? You've got no idea. Don't badmouth what you don't know, or you'll pay for it for sure.
Okay, that's enough. Step back and let us do our job.
That's no way to treat an omen.
Oh, yeah? He's gonna get us into trouble. You can't understand. You're not sailors. It's a sign. There's something coming. Something real bad.
Don't put that beast back in the water, you shysters. You're crazy.
They're cops. They can't understand.
Damn stupid idiots.
Forget it. Nobody listens to us anyway.
That's no way to treat an omen.
Oh, yeah? He's gonna get us into trouble. You can't understand. You're not sailors. It's a sign.
The blood is just beginning to coagulate. It died a short time ago. Only a specialist would know what killed it.
That's no way to treat an omen.
Oh, yeah? He's gonna get us into trouble.
The same goes for you, sir. Move along.
I'm looking for this address. Warehouse 36, Darkwater Harbor.
Ah. And so who are you?
I didn't introduce myself. Edward Pierce, private detective.
In any case, it's not very important. I can't answer that.
You can't? Or you don't want to?
Oh, no. I'm not getting into those games, me. Now, please, allow me to do my job.
You can't understand. You're not sailors. It's a sign. There's something coming. Something real bad.
I've brought out the Charles Hawkins cargo manifests. They're on the table next to you. But in truth, you're likely to be disappointed. When you're done, come join me on the deck.
These manifests are signed by Charles Hawkins. But that's all I'll get from them.
Only a few dates are still legible, 1890, 1907, and a partial date. The rest of the document is blacked out. Who would want this information to be hidden? There will be some things I don't pick up and don't collect and don't interact with and all that kind of stuff. And there'll also be some stuff that I won't be reading in this playthrough, only because I have played this game a few times now, and I don't feel the need every single playthrough to stop and read absolutely everything that there is. Only in special kinds of playthroughs, if I decide to do that kind of thing. But for this playthrough, when it comes to choices that determine what kind of ending you'll get, or what options for the ending to choose you'll have, that's when I'll put polls up, Twitch polls, to actually decide what to do in those situations.
From here, I see everything that goes on in the harbor. The hard-working lives of my sailors, the fights at the stranded whale. Even the antics of these wharf rats don't escape me.
It's you who lays down the law around here.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far. I'm just the last serving captain on Darkwater. Tell me what I can do to help you.
Hey there, Grace. Ahoy there to you. Very apt, because we're playing a game that takes place on an island, and there's still very much a lot of, sailor and piratey stuff.
I'm just back from the wharves. The dead killer whale is unsettling the sailors.
Ah, yes. Us men of the sea are superstitious folk.
Killer whales don't have many known predators.
That's true. And normally, they're not found around here. But, you're gonna take me for a fool.
Give it a try.
Have you heard about the depths? Trenches that plunge into the earth and that shelter creatures unlike any other.
You're talking about mythology.
Ha! Indeed, you're right.
The police took the decision to put the killer whale back into the sea.
You've got to understand them. They didn't know what to do with it.
I think that was a mistake. Who says that whatever caused those wounds is no longer in these waters?
You think we should have kept it?
To look into the real cause of its death, at least.
Hey, Striker, you hear this Cthulhu fellow is a nice guy. He gets a bad rep, which is really undeserved. Yeah, and a lot of people just don't answer his calls. You know, they just hang up on him, or they don't even answer at all.
Your manifests have been blacked out. They're totally unreadable.
Yeah, I saw that. I've got no idea who did it or why. I don't remember having countersigned anything special enough for someone to hide it.
And why obliterate the dates, as well as the goods stored in the warehouse?
You mean that the dates have some meaning?
I know that Charles Hawkins was descended from a family of ship owners, and the island's fishing industry was hit badly.
Indeed, we specialized in whaling, but no whalers went out to sea after the miraculous catch of 1847.
So where did the Hawkins family get its money?
Well, from what Charles inherited, I presume. Although, these dates on the manifests could indicate that he had contracts of another kind.
With whom, I wonder? I'm looking for Warehouse 36. Do you know where it is?
Look, it's right there. The warehouse is opposite the jetty. You can't miss it.
Understood.
You know who the building belongs to, don't you?
It belonged to the Hawkins family.
Precisely.
I think that somebody here wanted me to search this warehouse. I shall be on my way.
So come back and see me when you've got something new.
Something new, eh? What's this new? And now we can access the warehouse. Well, we've had potential entrances to the warehouse unveiled to us now because we spoke to Fitzroy.
Oh, yeah.
You can't understand. You're not sailors.
It's a sign. There's something coming. Something real bad.
You can't understand. You're not sailors. It's so funny. This is supposed to be running, right? But the movement makes me think that Pierce is actually hopping as he goes along. Be funny to do a third-person version of this game and actually see him just skip along or hop along. This cogwheel is part of a mechanism.
An old cogwheel. Rusty, but in working order. A whale vertebra. This place is full of junk.
This part enables heavy loads to be lifted and held aloft without risk. A ratchet device.
This ratchet device seems to be usable.
Wonder if we can find a clank device as well. Lever. This lever activates a mechanism. Pull the lever!
A handle. It must come from these old winches.
No! Pull the other one!
It looks like there's a way in under this grate.
There's a character in Prince of Persia Sands of Time that you meet the first major puzzle you have to solve, and that's the kind of voice that the guy has and how he talks.
I could use this old winch to lift the grating. Looks like everything is in its place. All that's left is to try to turn this handle. Damn, I broke it.
Interesting. When I was testing to see what kind of playthrough I wanted to do this time around, and I did this part, I actually was able to get it. So this is based a bit on RNG as well, whether or not you'll be able to use that and not have it break. And when I tested it, I didn't put anything into strength either. But there are other ways.
Well, well. A little mouse has got lost on our turf. What gave you the crazy idea to come onto my turf?
This muddy alley is yours? Good for you. I've got work to do.
I don't think that you've quite understood the situation. I'll tell you how things work around here. I decide who comes in and who stays out. And anyone who doesn't respect my rules, I punish them.
You don't have to do this.
Of course I do. And I'll even take pleasure in doing it. Get this joker out of here. He might have a little trouble walking on his own.
Ugh. I'm getting careless. I didn't see that coming. If I want to get into this warehouse, I'm going to have to deal with her.
I was too busy trying to find the IMDb for who plays Cat, and then that choice came up and I was like, oh shit, it's a timed one. So I'll just have to let that one through. Not that it would have mattered, because we don't have anything in strength, so we probably would have got our ass handed to us anyway. Hey Viewey, great game and great table game. Yeah, I'm not really into table games and stuff, so my interest with this has only been this game and stuff. But I haven't read any H.P. Lovecraft things, but I've seen some stuff inspired by it. And one of those things that I really liked was In the Mouth of Madness, the movie with Sam Neill in it. And that's one of the reasons why I've named this stream title Into the Mouth of Madness, as a play on that. Welcome on in. I hope it's going well. I really do like this game. The last time I played it was only a few months back in October. But yeah, I've gotten all the endings. So for this playthrough, I decided to just do a viewer choice at certain points. But that one there, that choice, I forgot that it was going to be a choice. I thought that she was just going to do it anyway, you know, without even having to make a decision. But I was in the middle of trying to find the IMDb and then saw it come up and I was like, oh, well, I'll just not choose anything. But that doesn't really determine your ending anyway, so.
Don't put that beast back in the water, you shysters! You're crazy! They're cops. They can't understand.
Not that again. She will get us into trouble.
What? Another break?
One of those damn sailors came looking for trouble again.
But he won't try again anytime soon. We gave him a good hiding.
So you said to yourselves that after such a feat, you could abandon your post.
It's just a little drink. We taught those guys a lesson.
We'll return right after. It's just that standing guard in this alley makes your throat dry.
That fool Fitzroy can't keep his dogs on a leash.
I'll have to send him a more clear-cut message. Hey, Mitchell. A drink for our new friend. I owe you. You don't know how to fight, but at least you've got guts.
Yeah, aching guts.
Huh. I've got them too. But you don't hear me whining like a pooch who's lost its leash. You didn't back down. It's something that I respect. So understand by that, if I catch you again, you'll carry a more permanent reminder of our encounter. Tell me, what brings you to Darkwater?
Alright, so we have a choice here. Alright, I'll have a 1-minute poll for this one. And there we go. With 3 votes, we tell the truth.
I'm investigating the deaths of the Hawkins family.
It's very nice of you to tell me the truth so openly, but it's also really stupid of you. You really don't seem to know the area. Let me give you a little advice. If you want to survive more than a day in this rat hole, avoid talking about them to the first people you meet.
Is that more dangerous than having a drink with you?
I'm not kidding. The old families, they were here long before us, and they'll be here long after we are gone.
The old families?
The descendants of the first whalers. These people truly worship their ancestors.
I've got a few questions about the island.
I'm not here to give you information. Mitchell will tell you what he wants to tell you.
I need to get into the Hawkins warehouse.
You're out of luck. It's on my turf.
It's precisely for that reason that I've come to see you.
Are you pulling my leg?
Think it over. I've seen what you're capable of. And you didn't miss me.
I accept the compliment. Well, I see you're serious. To be honest, as long as it doesn't interfere with my business, I don't care. But I'll go with you, to make sure you don't stick your nose into things that don't concern you.
Sounds honest to me.
I'm not finished. If I do that for you, if I let you onto our turf to conduct your little affairs, you'll be indebted to me, and I guarantee that I always collect on what I'm owed. Think about it. I help you, you'll owe me a favor in return. Do you accept?
Do I have a choice?
Oh, we always have one, Detective. Follow me.
Nobody questions your authority here. I was given to believe that Fitzroy stood up to you.
That dope tried to save face in front of his sailors. They revere their brave captain as they do their old statues. But sooner or later, all statues get buried in bird shit, and nobody cares.
And the police? They do nothing to stop you?
The local cops? The cops drink like everyone else, sweetheart. They know where their interests lie. Apart from that pig-headed Bradley, I don't know whether to admire his stubbornness or to have pity on him.
Forget it. Nobody listens to us anyway.
That's no way to treat an omen.
Oh, yeah? He's gonna get us into trouble. You can't understand. You're not sailors. It's a sign. There's something coming. Something real bad.
Everything good?
And why wouldn't everything be good?
I don't know. I was just wondering.
Let us through.
Oh, okay.
That's how it's done. Do I still need to hold your hand? Or do you think you'll get by on your own now?
Don't overdo it.
Good. In that case, I'll leave you. I've done enough mothering for now.
Ugh, this place stinks. What is the connection between this place and the Sarah Hawkins case? The glass is shattered, like someone smashed it. Was it before or after the removal of these bandages? These painkillers were prescribed 3 months ago. Someone has been taking them since the time of the Hawkins death. It smells as bad as it looks. Can't sleep. I know how that feels.
Can't sleep. Clown will eat me. Can't sleep. Clown will eat me.
Someone treasures this crumpled picture to the point of sleeping with it. Is this one of Sarah Hawkins' paintings?
Someone has settled in here.
And whoever it is has something to tell me about the Hawkins case. Is there anyone in there? You! Don't move! Detective Pierce. I told you to stay away from this warehouse.
You seem like a competent officer. We should help each other.
You're trying to manipulate me, Mr. Pierce. I hate to be taken for a fool.
All right, Inspector Lestrade. Let me take a more direct approach. Can you explain what this painting is doing here?
This strange portrait. Wait, I know it. It was in the Hawkins mansion when we came to investigate the fire.
So you confirm that it was removed from the crime scene? Interesting. I'd like to go and see the mansion now.
Of course. You want to go back along his trail? I'd like to understand how this painting made it to here. Come on. My car's parked down the way. Andrews, would you please shut the door? And open your eyes, damn it. This guy went right under your nose. God damn it. Her again. This case has nothing to do with you, Baker. Clear the passage or I'll shut you up for obstruction.
Officer Bradley, you've finally grown a pair. Too bad you're too fat to see them down there.
Why, you...
Come on, keep the smile. You don't want to force me to widen it.
Okay, I get it. Can we go to the mansion now?
I thought I'd straightened you out, mister. I am disappointed, but we'll meet again.
Is it far, this mansion?
Look behind you, at the top of the ridge. You see the building? That's the Hawkins mansion. Come on, we got some driving to do.
Chapter 3, Garden of the Hawkins Mansion. Pierce managed to get into the warehouse. The place, thought to be abandoned, revealed some surprises, signs of recent occupation, as well as a partly charred painting. Interrupted in his searching by Officer Bradley, Pierce convinced him to join his investigation. The police officer is willing to drive the detective to the Hawkins mansion.
Well, here we are, Hawkins mansion. The place has been abandoned since the fire. There's only old Winchester in his hut.
I don't believe the fire is the only reason this house is in such a state.
It's a very old building, you know? Its foundations would probably date from the arrival of the first settlers.
Huh. It's really that old.
Come on, let's leave the stories of the dead alone. They've nothing to do with your case anyhow. Let's go up there. Unless you still have questions.
You're the one who looked after the Hawkins case.
Don't think I was trying to hide it. It's just that this discovery shakes my convictions.
That's why you're so keen to find out who removed the painting from the mansion.
Yes. If something escaped us, or if there's been a law enforcement error, then it's up to the police to make good its mistake. Anything else?
I prefer to be prepared if there's going to be trouble.
It's a wise attitude. But apart from old Silas and some rotten floorboards, there's nothing to worry about.
You're talking about Winchester?
That's right. The Hawkins' old caretaker. Strictly speaking, he ain't dangerous. But since the tragedy, he's been a little touched. Though he's a remarkably sturdy man, given his age. A true force of nature.
A sad old man doesn't worry me.
Gee, if you don't want to listen to my advice, we might as well go. Right?
He's clearly not doing any gardening.
You know, Silas Winchester has been working for the Hawkins family as far back as I can remember. Charles was like a son to him. The day of the fire, he lost his whole family, so he's got nowhere to go. And, as you'll see, in a way, he's still watching over them. Is there anything else you want to ask me? Or do you want to go up there?
Night falls quickly here, and I want to be able to see when we arrive.
I'll go with you, if only to reassure Silas.
Alright, so another poll. Some of these won't be things that go towards the ending, but there's some that I just want to include. Alright, so another poll with 1 minute on it. Do we accept or do we refuse? This is one of the choices that I don't think has any impact on anything major. Alright, so the poll result is accept. Hey there, Sprocket. I do like this game. Yeah, this is probably my 6th playthrough, I think. Because there's 4 different endings, so I've gotten each ending before. I also did a playthrough in October last year doing a certain kind of thing, but I can't remember now what I did. So that was 5 and then... Yeah, so I think this is the 6th time gone through this game. But yeah, I do enjoy it. The character models, if they were given more money, I don't know how much money they were given for this project, but I do remember it being delayed maybe once or twice, maybe. But the animations for the characters when talking and stuff, sometimes their mouths look way too big for their face, kind of thing. But the thing that really, really, really draws me to this game every time is the atmosphere, the music, the story, the characters, the mystery of what's going on, even though obviously I know what the mystery is and all that kind of stuff by this point, but I still find it enjoyable. Hey there, Stubby. Welcome on in. How's it going?
Why not? You can help.
Right. Let's go.
The flowers on Sarah Hawkins' grave are fresh. Someone must really hate Charles Hawkins.
I told you. Silas Winchester is still watching over the Hawkins family.
I must say, it's pretty gloomy.
So, Detective, does this place inspire any thoughts?
Sprocket, yeah, the clips you've seen, the atmosphere seems interesting. Yeah. So it's got that going for it. And it came out in 2018 as well. So it's been out for a few years now. I wonder if they'll ever remaster it. Because if they do, they got an opportunity to really improve the animations and stuff.
Do you know if Charles Hawkins had any enemies?
Not to our knowledge. He was a well-respected personality on the island. I don't understand. Silas would never have let such a thing happen.
Why were they buried here?
I was given to believe that it was Charles Hawkins' wish.
Strange idea. I imagine Webster wasn't too pleased.
Mrs. Hawkins' father? It's said that he's devastated.
Let's go to the mansion.
Please give me a minute. I didn't expect to set foot back here after the burial. What kind of deranged individual would defile this sanctuary? And steal a burnt painting? I don't see Silas doing such a thing. Let alone allowing it. Even that broad baker is above that. Lord, have pity on this poor family.
Poor kid.
I gotta do this. Wow, what a mansion. There's an unwritten rule. Every Resident Evil fan, when they see a mansion in a game, has to say that quote from Resident Evil. Just kidding, I'm not being fully serious. Maybe a little bit serious. I still
This
can't.
entrance is still in use.
Whoa! You were trying to force the door, you nosy prick!
Easy, sir, all right? Put down the axe.
You know what we do with rubble like you? We gut them. Dump them into the ocean.
You're Mr. Winchester. Lower that axe, and let's talk calmly.
I'll show you how we have it out on Darkwater.
You haven't forgiven yourself. You stay here to honor the memory of the deceased.
That's true. I want no more violence. No more tragedy.
It's painful to be the last one left.
You don't know how right you are. Understood. I'm listening.
The police report describes a domestic accident, but Stephen Webster has several reasons to believe that this may not be the case.
Webster is as stubborn as an old mule. And I did tell him that we should let the dead rest in peace.
He wants to restore the reputation of his daughter. I just need to see where the fire started.
No, I can't let you in. The mansion isn't safe.
That's why you barricaded the entrance.
That's right.
And this door?
It's locked, and I make sure it stays that way.
No one lives in the mansion, and you don't take care of it anymore. If you have a good reason to be here, I'm listening.
There's vermin. I keep an eye out.
Vermin?
Yeah, that's it, vermin.
Right. This is what we're going to do. I go inside, and I promise that I'll hunt vermin. Okay with you?
I'm not sure.
If there's nothing else to fear, you can give me that key.
Right. Take the key and do what you have to do. Go on, then. Just to get rid of you.
Let's see what more I can learn from this mansion.
I still can't help but think that when you run, Edward Pierce is actually hopping instead of actually running. Sprocket, yeah, vermin, that's the ticket. Exactly. When in doubt and you're being questioned about something, just say it's because of the vermin. And then that'll get you out of any conversation that you don't want to be in.
Pierce, Shall we enter? Now that you've finished your fun and games with Silas, we can perhaps inspect the mansion.
You're right. Let's go. Let's take a look inside.
I'm with you.
Chapter 3, Hawkins Mansion. Pierce and Officer Bradley explored the gardens of the Hawkins Mansion. The family lies in the graveyard of the property, guarded by Silas Winchester. The old caretaker, still faithful to his employers, keeps watch on the place, armed with his axe. Pierce and Bradley manage to calm him down and finally get hold of the key to the Hawkins Mansion. They enter the building, looking for the scene of the fire.
Follow me. I know the place. Who left this light on?
The Last Supper of the Hawkins. What does this tell me?
Hawkins Manor. In the entrance hall of the mansion, a lighted lamp seems to be waiting for us, and the old caretaker who thinks he can stop people from entering. I must find the place where the Hawkins family died. En route, I'll pick up as much information as I can on their life.
What kind of meat is this? This place is for the head of the family, Charles Hawkins. The boy was probably here, smashed his plate on the floor. Sarah Hawkins didn't eat. Was it because of the meat or something else? Something happened at this table. An argument?
Hey, Pierce. Daydreaming again?
Working, officer. This dinner table tells us a lot about the Hawkins family life.
Well, we don't have all day. The scene of the fire is next door.
Let's see if I can
Silas
find
managed to
something
bring
the
the fire
cops
under
missed.
control, but it was already too late for the Hawkins.
Was Charles Hawkins a heavy drinker? If the painting I found on the docks really came from here, how come it didn't burn? Did Sarah Hawkins lose one of her shoes? How? Did it stop at the time of the fire? The child's corpse left a trace. Where are the others? They had a fight. Why? Did someone escape the fire? Blood. This lamp was thrown. This was no accident. This was a fight. Someone fell here. A desperate attempt to flee. And the boy.
So, Detective, what do you make of it?
I firmly believe this fire was more than just an accident.
Huh. What's your theory?
I think the Hawkins couple got into a fight.
You sure of that?
There's only one way to be sure.
I just ask that you don't disturb anything. If Chief West found out about what we're doing, I'd be in serious trouble.
These bandages are covered in dried blood. But whose? The lyrics of the drunken sailor, a sea shanty.
What will we do with the drunken sailor?
An original edition of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, dated 1818.
It's Frankenstein!
Moby Dick, Melville's classic. The epic battle between man and whale.
A copy of the novel Moby Dick by Herman Melville. A classic, especially for a family of ship owners.
Mandatory reading for any whaler, I guess. This piano is in disrepair. Looks like the Hawkins kept it more for decoration than for music.
I'd play Moonlight Sonata, but it looks like some keys are broken. And no amount of time waiting for someone to learn them will actually help that.
What do you know about Charles Hawkins' activities?
Well, not much, to be honest. We all assumed the Hawkins lived on Charles's inheritance. If you're right, we should be able to find clues among the Hawkins' personal effects.
What could Sarah have done to make this person threaten to call the police?
Dear sir, as you know, I have always held you and your family in high respect. Unfortunately, I can no longer continue to close my eyes on the behavior of your wife. Last week she, again, terrified my clientele. I know that she means no harm, but you should place her in the care of Dr. Fuller. He alone seems able to make her come to her senses. If these disturbances were to recur, believe me that, although it would feel like torture, I would be obliged to involve the police. Respectfully yours, Anton Wellard.
What will her room reveal about her? Barbiturates. Sarah Hawkins must have been extremely agitated resorting to such a treatment.
Barbiturates. They act as a depressant of the nervous system, but once you begin, you can never live without them. Of that I know something. The key that opens the door to Sarah Hawkins' office was concealed.
Sarah Hawkins' agent was getting worried. Seems she wasn't giving any signs of life.
My very dear Sarah, ever since you left to bury yourself away on that lost island, your art has been attracting increasing numbers of collectors. I beg you to send me some new paintings. The last ones, so somber and strange, moving as no other paintings have been, are selling at a premium price. Your percentage of these most recent sales is attached. Do not forget your friend, who was the first to recognize your genius and display it to the world. Affectionately yours, Maximilian L.
This ledger lists all of the paintings Sarah Hawkins sold.
I won't read all of them, but the bottom one is of note. The Shambler for FS, and FS stands for Francis Sanders, and that was given to him as a gift.
It seems the last one was given for free to a Francis Sanders. I wonder why. Despite what happened, they seem to have loved each other.
Charles Hawkins scribbled a kind word to his wife. Fate brought us together, and forever it will bind us. Well, that can be taken a number of ways depending on one's perspective. It could be a very sweet thing for someone to say, a very kind and romantic kind of thing. But to others, it could be, oh, forever, huh? Binding, as if it's like some, allegiance or something. Or if one goes, the other has to go with them kind of deal.
Was Sarah Hawkins interested in the occult? What was she trying to achieve?
Aren't we all? Ceremonial circle. If the creature is not yet anchored in our dimension, an expulsion ritual might work, as long as the person performing it makes sure that he integrates the elder sign among the glyphs that make up the ceremonial circle. Be careful though, because the works that describe the creation of such circles are not all of proven reliability. Extract taken from the Malleus Bestiarum by Abigail G. Art of Sarah Hawkins. Intuitive and visionary artist for some, overpriced imposter for others, Sarah Hawkins leaves nobody indifferent. This mysterious and reserved painter offers strange images with violent colors and wild strokes to the world. If her paintings are testimony to her vision of the world, then the world of Sarah Hawkins is a portal open to other dimensions. Extract from the notebook of Edward Pierce, private detective. I was going to say investigator there. The Last Supper. Since the fire in the Hawkins mansion, the dining room has remained intact. The settings allow the places occupied by the family members to be determined. Visibly, etiquette was respected even in private. Charles Hawkins sat at the head of the table, with wife and son on either side. The knocked-over chair could be due to something that happened after the fire, or it could confirm the theory of a domestic argument. Clearly, the roast was untouched in certain plates. The meat, mysteriously preserved since then, seems to have been the subject of the dispute between the Hawkins couple. The scene of the fire. Contradicting the police report, the Hawkins drawing room tells a totally different version of the fire that claimed the whole family. Beginning with the presence of a handprint that throws up the possibility of a survivor, the bodies of Charles and Sarah Hawkins left no mark on the floor nor, to that matter, in the drawing room, contrary to that of the child, still visible close to the fireplace. The same goes for the glass shards on the floor. A close inspection reveals the presence of blood on several of them. On the wall, the very clear mark left by the painting found in the Hawkins warehouse confirms the Hawkins case could be much more than a domestic accident. Hey Rosie, how's it going? He promoted himself to detective. He did. He bypassed protocol and he was like, look, I'm going to decide when I go up in rank, and I've decided that I'm now detective. So there.
Bradley? Is that you? Is anyone there?
You! Stop!
Bradley, did you see which way he went?
Who? I didn't see anyone. I just heard some noise. Are you all right?
A man was hiding on the upper level. He ran when he saw me. He can't be far.
Which way did he go, George? Which way did he go? Rosie, benefits of going private. That's true. Work your own hours.
I'll cover you.
This door was closed earlier.
This collection of medical knowledge and health practices in the 18th century actually only covers the so-called civilized countries. It does not deal with the influence of holistic medicines or medicines from continents considered inferior.
Where did he go?
Do you really think that your fugitive came in here? I don't see any way out.
Have you seen the old maritime maps on Charles Hawkins' desk?
Strange. No ship has left Darkwater shore for years. Maybe he kept them for sentimental reasons.
It looks like an old seaway map.
Somebody has added coordinates to this old sea map. They make up a journey to the center of the Earth. Rosie, you're the world's only CEO detective. It's like, we'll work only 1 hour per day. Would go broke very, very soon. Or quickly.
Charles Hawkins was a sort of traveler, right?
More like an adventurer, I guess. He left for months, exploring remote places and abandoned temples.
Clearly, Charles Hawkins knew Captain Fitzroy very well.
In this photograph, Charles Hawkins and Captain Fitzroy are posing with a third man. They seem close. Yes, because they're all standing close together. Of course they seem close. Good observation skills.
I wonder who the man with the glasses is in the photograph. Probably another friend of Hawkins. It looks like a freehand map of Darkwater. Certain areas have been highlighted. I wonder why.
A map of Darkwater hand-drawn by Charles Hawkins. Some places have been circled.
They look like Celtic runes. Charles must have brought them back from one of his foreign trips.
Celtic runes. Small polished stones decorated with Celtic runes, probably used for divination rituals. They are mostly found in Europe. Hey there, Brutus. Drawn when he was 3 years old. That's it. He had the awareness and forethought to think to himself that when he's an adult, there'll be certain circumstances happening, so he needs to draw a map of it now, while he has this epiphany. How's it going, Brutus?
Seems like this came from a log.
Sailor's Logbook. Monday, 24th of May, 1847. 42 north, 70 west. Darkwater Island. We sailed north all morning. Captain Hamilton is confident. He says that we'll beat the Orpheus this season. May God be merciful. Sunday the 30th, May 1847. 47 north, 55 west. I preferred it when the whales disappeared without trace. With these carcasses, we can no longer ignore their sad fate. What is eating these huge beasts? I told Hamilton that it was a bad omen. He doesn't care. Tuesday, 1st of June, 1847. 49 north, 61 west. We dropped anchor near a village. The inhabitants say that the waters are red with the blood of the sacred beasts, and to follow them is to defy the gods. I told them that I only feared God Almighty, but in the loneliness of the hold, I'm scared. Friday the 4th of June, 1847. 57 north, 51 west. We have sighted a huge whale in the distance. Its size seems to be beyond anything known to man. It sends out an infernal song. Hamilton wants it. Wednesday, 23rd of June, 1847, 33 north, 53 west. We've caught it. It's the most grotesque whale I've ever laid eyes upon. It will go into memory as the biggest catch ever. Men have died, but we have gained glory. This day will be celebrated for years to come. Tuesday, 29th June, 1847. Darkwater. We have beaten the Orpheus, returned with empty holds. The Scylla and Hamilton are only memories. Excellent, Brutus, that's good. I'm glad that you're going well. As for me, I'm doing really good. Finished off Vampire earlier. Got one of the 4 endings in that game that you can get. I'll definitely be doing another playthrough in the future at some point. And I made note of what ending I got so I know which one it was. Because it might be next year that I play it again. Who knows, but overall I enjoyed it. And the main actor in that is also the main actor in this. So I thought I would keep the connection going and play this game after. And the same actor is also in Alien Isolation as Samuels, and I played that before Vampire. So I thought, hey, I may as well do an Anthony Howell trilogy.
There must be a link with the Seaway map. As if the bookcase has been moved several times.
And so I'm doing a playthrough this time around of this game where, at certain points, I'll leave it up to viewers to vote in a poll as to what decision to make. There'll be some instances of dialogue choices, but only in the cases where there's another language to actually choose.
The Scylla. It's the boat that was stranded at the entrance to the harbor. This panel is movable. Cogwheels. They must be linked to an opening mechanism. Probably a secret passage. I must find a way to activate the opening mechanism. Great. I managed to force the gears. It looks like I've triggered something.
Well done, Pierce.
Why are these letters here, and not with Sarah Hawkins' belongings?
These letters have been opened but visibly have not left Charles Hawkins' office. They are tied together by a carefully knotted braid. Why did Hawkins intercept his wife's mail? Sprocket, genius, just turn them. You thought that would be a puzzle. Well, here's the thing, Sprocket. I haven't put anything into strength, so I'm surprised that we actually were able to do that. Sometimes, and I don't know if it's random or it's depending on what you put skill points into before this point, but there's actually a crowbar that you can find that you can then use to actually open that up. Or you can solve the puzzle, which is this globe over here. You got to use the documents you find with the north or with the coordinates and actually figure that out on the globe, and then that will unlock it. So there's a few ways that you can do it, but it seems that some of the things are related to RNG more so than necessarily what you've put into your skills and stuff. Chapter 4. Tunnels under the Hawkins Mansion. Inside the Hawkins Mansion, the scene of the fire revealed its secrets. Pierce and Officer Bradley, now on the trail of a survivor, had undertaken to search the place, looking for proof. When a hooded man leaped into Sarah Hawkins' workshop to steal the painting, detective and the police officer set off after him. By following him to the office of Charles Hawkins, they discovered a secret passage. Pierce and Bradley entered the tunnel under the mansion.
Secret passage. Under the manor. It's like a detective novel. That guy must have already gotten far.
Yeah, and he had a direct means of entry to the crime scene. We must find him.
What is this place? It's more than just a tunnel. Look. Someone's been here recently.
Maybe there's been a maniac in this mansion, making it a maniac mansion.
3 seats. Did Charles Hawkins use this place? Who were the others? What is this mask supposed to represent? This piece of cloth is unmistakably from a dress. Was Sarah Hawkins here?
The underground antechamber. The strange antechamber, hidden at the entrance to the network of caves, raises new questions. The presence of a table and 3 chairs leads to the belief that Charles Hawkins used the place for meetings in small groups. The existence of objects with esoteric connotations is more worrying, since they lead to the impression that we may be in the presence of a cult. Moreover, the torn fabric revealing Sarah Hawkins' presence in the place does raise questions. Was she in danger because she discovered these tunnels?
This padlock is too complicated for me. Of course.
And something tells me that the key is climbing these steps. There's tunnels all over this island. Given the size of this cave, there's gotta be other entrances.
The passage continues further down. Might as well start with that.
I ain't gonna squeeze in there. I'll find another way. If possible, I prefer not to ruin my uniform.
Fine, fine. Go look for another entrance. I'll try my luck down below. Some kind of dream catcher. If I touch it, it'll turn to dust. A sad way to go. An old diary.
In this volume, there is mention of the beliefs of the lost tribe. They worshipped an entity that spoke to them in their sleep. The whole tribe seemingly disappeared in a mass sacrifice to the glory of their deity.
These paintings must be several centuries old.
Disappeared tribe. A tribe of men, worshippers of the sea and its benefits, landed on the shores of an island surrounded by dark waters. They were discovered by the creature some call the Devourer of Whales. For years, the creature hunted them down into their dreams until their weakened minds surrendered. Following the creature's orders, they sunk into the dark waters surrounding the island and never came back. Extract taken from the Malleus Bestiarum by Abigail G.
This monstrous creature must be an allegory. These people lying down, are they dead? Are they asleep? These buildings seem to have come out of the water. Time has weakened these structures. I don't have time to search them all. It looks like animal oil, but certainly not whale. What's going on here?
Pierce!
Keep your voice down. We're not alone.
Good God. What have you got me into?
We'll see. I'll go on. Try to go down on your side.
Yeah, there's a passage. I'll meet you at the bottom.
An engraved whalebone. A strange creature has been carved into it. Probably a figure of worship.
The image of a strange creature has been carved into this whalebone.
A table for sacrifice? I gotta... Oh, I can't breathe. What's happening?
Is it my turn?
Yes. It is time. You will soon be one of us, if your body and mind are ready.
I dream of it every night. I have constant visions. I am ready.
Good enough. Prove it to us.
It's like in my dream. It seems to have been used recently. Probably some sort of ritual.
I found this dagger in the tunnels under Hawkins Manor. Its owner left it behind when he went with the other hooded men.
I can't read Latin.
Me neither. Atlas of Atlantic Islands. Darkwater Island has been inhabited since the 14th century and is still rich with the many memories left by its lost tribes. But don't let the romanticism of these moving evidences of such naive and primitive beliefs fool you into forgetting how violent their gods were. Speaking of forgetting, I've already read that.
You who sleeps, accept this dreamer under your immortal wing.
Ya Cthulhu Nithsiha Fitagan.
Grant him your flesh and accept his, so that his body and yours may be one.
Yibithink Hupadk Cthulhu Bithinkor.
Grant him your mind and accept his, so that his mind and yours may be one.
Yeloig Hupadk Cthulhu Loigna.
Grant him your dreams and accept his, so that the paths of your souls finally intertwine.
Yor El Cthulhu Kashag.
Let his soul guide you to us, just as your dreams guided it to you.
Yor El Cthulhu Bogshug.
Let your dreamers open the way, so that the day finally comes when you will awaken.
La Cthulhu Nafal Fatagan.
Cthulhu! Fatagan!
I feel him.
You are gifted indeed. Not another word. Let him pass through every part of you. All you who sleep, we pray for your return into the kingdom of the earth. Bring me more sacred flesh.
Dead? This ritual killed him. Where's the sense in that?
Sleeping cultist. They are laid out on a frozen stone. One would say that they are dead, but their bodies do not decompose. Are they in some form of coma? One thing is sure, these men were subjected to a type of treatment that changed their physical characteristics. I'm not sure that we can still call them men. Extract from the notebook of Edward Pierce, private detective.
We are ready for the ceremony. What about your protege?
His awakening is complete. He will join you shortly.
Lucinda, this is despicable. Good morning. How's it going, Lucinda? I hope things are going well. Good morning to you as well. So here we are with another game with Anthony Howe playing a character in it. I thought I may as well. I played through Alien Isolation. He's in that as the android Samuels. I've played Vampire. He's the main character in that. I may as well do a trilogy of his games and do this as well. It's going okay. You're running a little behind today, but you made it. Oh, well, that's good that it's going okay, Lucinda. And that's no trouble at all, for sure. I'll still be streaming for a little bit longer. I decided this time around, because I've already gotten all the endings, I decided this time around that at certain points, I'm going to put the decision in chat's hands to do a vote on what to choose. When it comes to dialogue choices, it'll only be the ones where there's that other language to choose from, where I'll actually have it as a poll. But everything else, it's like, do you do this or that? Do you open this or close it? Do you trust this person or not? Those sorts of decisions I'm leaving up to chat. We've already had a decision made that affects what ending you can potentially get, which is having Pierce actually drink some alcohol. We did that at the start. I had that as a poll choice, and the vote went to drink, so we drink. Yeah, I thought it'd be something cool to do with this game because I've played it so many times now. I was thinking of doing a challenge playthrough, but it's very tricky to think of a challenge with this game, especially when you think of the skills. I mean, I think the most you could probably do is like, except for the start part where they want you to put skills into something, maybe a playthrough where you just don't pull any skills into anything else afterwards might be a little bit of a challenge. But even then, I don't know how much of a challenge it would actually provide. So yeah, I decided to go with that instead. Yeah, Rosie. Yeah, I thought I'd do that for a change. I have only done that with one other game where I've made it that every decision has to be made. Well, sorry, not every decision, but the majority of choices have to be voted on. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I did that with Alexius, but in that playthrough, I had the vote up for each bit of dialogue. So if there was 5 lines of dialogue, I would put the vote to which one to read, and then the next one, then the next one, until there was only one left, which was very, very time consuming, which is one of the reasons why I didn't want to do that for this playthrough of Call of Cthulhu. Lucinda, cheers, Piers. Exactly. It was like, yep, have a drink. It was in his office as well.
Bradley, what are you doing here? I saw 2 odd-looking guys coming down. Seemed up to no good. What in the world is this?
An intruder!
Oh, shit!
Don't move! Police! Don't move! I won't hesitate.
Bradley, get back!
Shoot.
Get back!
You asked for it!
You shouldn't have seen this.
It's all caving in. I need to get out of here. leg! Ah.
Arm a leg.
Light. At last.
Exactly, Lucinda. His tentacles for arms. Do you think he cares, Bradley? It's like, come on. Don't see that every day. Chapter 5, Riverside Institute. Pierce and Officer Bradley followed the intruder to the secret meeting place of a cult set in a network of underground caves right under the Hawkins Manor. They witnessed a strange ceremony led by a Charles Hawkins, very much alive. Bradley tried to arrest him, but Hawkins, whose body displayed various mutations, disemboweled the police officer. As he tried to escape from him, Pierce found himself prisoner of a rockfall. Rushed to the Riverside Institute, he is in a critical state.
He's having a seizure.
He will survive. A strong subject.
There, he's opening his eyes.
You saved him, Fuller.
I can't get up.
Don't move, Pierce. You can certainly say that you gave us a scare.
What did you do to me? Undo these straps!
Whoa! Go easy, my friend.
You were dead. He killed you.
Are you sure he's better?
He was dead. Me too, we were dead. What are you doing?
I'm sorry, my friend.
What? No! What happened to me? Where am I?
Mr. Sanders, you have to come with us.
No, please. I can't leave here.
You've got no choice, Sanders, and neither do we.
No, you don't understand. If I go out, he'll see me. No! No!
You're leaving this cell.
Please. I don't want him to find me.
last of them rises up, you will choose. I will not be here to bear witness to it, because you will have released me. But the earth will resound to your cries, or theirs. Awake and free me.
You there. Wake up. Come on, stand up. We don't have much time. Can you stand up?
Who are you?
A friend of Ethan Bradley. It was he who told me that you had been interned here.
Wait. Bradley is really alive? I don't understand. You filled me so full of drugs I can't distinguish dream from reality.
Please believe that I have nothing to do with these disgraceful treatments. Look, I don't have time to explain everything. I'm not really supposed to be here. And the same goes for you, according to Ethan. You must leave as soon as possible, and as unobtrusively as possible. I've brought you your clothes. Let me go ahead. We'll meet upstairs.
Wait a minute.
Emerald was also in Alien Isolation as Taylor, and so was Anthony Howe in that same game as Samuels, the android, and so both of them are in this game as well.
What's going on here? What do they do to the patients to make them so terrified?
I would really like to know. I only see them when they are brought up for medical treatment, for problems they didn't have before going downstairs. But this is neither the time nor the place to talk about that. We must not stay here. There are 2 men standing guard near the stairs. It's the only way to the floor above. I shall try to distract them, and get at least one to come with me. All you need to do is to follow me as soon as the way is free.
Understood.
October 1924, Riverside Institute. I see Bradley being disemboweled by this man again. Was he really Charles Hawkins? My running away, the rock fall, being made prisoner under the rocks. Did someone tend to me? Bradley is alive. What is this place? Some sort of asylum? They took a man and Bradley is alive. A woman has come to free me. She works here as a doctor. She says that she was sent by Bradley, that she will create a diversion to distract the guards so that I can get to the floor above unnoticed. Can I trust her? The ritual. In the tunnels under the Hawkins mansion, Pierce witnessed the disemboweling of Officer Bradley by a man with a monstrous appearance. The men in gowns and their rituals had not succeeded in affecting the veteran. However, the brutal death of Bradley, the discovery of the identity of his killer, whom he recognized as dead Charles Hawkins, as well as the latter's superhuman strength, managed to strike fear into him. Pierce still does not know if he should believe what he saw. He may even put these visions of horror to the shock caused by the death of Bradley, or he may put it down to a lack of oxygen provoked by the rockfall.
What does this mean? Am I in an asylum? What did they inject him with?
What abject substance did they use? In the horror movie In the Mouth of Madness, directed by John Carpenter, which the stream title for this part of the playthrough is a reference to, there's a scene where the main character, played by Sam Neill, is being taken into an insane asylum, and he ends up getting put into a room, and the only thing he asks for is a single black crayon. And when the doctor who's assigned to see him goes into his room, he sees that he's painted all these crosses all over the padded room of his cell.
Sarah. In his eyes, this symbol must have some protective virtues. What did he write about the painting? Sarah Hawkins is on this list of authorized visitors.
In the padded cell. In the cellars of the Riverside Institute, in one of the cells of the asylum, the same symbol, written in black chalk and repeated over and over again on the padded walls, does make one think. It represents a 5-pointed star with, in its center, what could be a twig, a branch, or a feather. A few cryptic phrases accompany the drawings, but they do not seem to have a logical meaning. There is mention of a look, a portal, and a painting. Finally, the patient's file, which fell when the guards tried to take him out, reveals that he received a visit from Sarah Hawkins.
If I don't get out of here, I'll end up like him. Poor wretch.
Dr. Colden, I would like to say that I'm surprised to see you, but we all know that your curiosity will be your ruin.
I don't understand. These people need care. You keep them in this terrible place as if...
Go back upstairs where your patients are waiting for you to treat them. As for you, gentlemen, do not disappoint me anymore. No one enters or leaves.
Yes, Doctor.
Damn it. I'll have to find a way of getting rid of those two myself.
I told you not to let her come down. I know. If you do it again, I'll report you. All right. I know.
The machine is working again, but the control wheels haven't been put back on.
I was just going to the storage room. I can bring them to you.
No, Dr. Fuller doesn't want us touching the pressure valves.
As you want. I'm going to see if there's sleeping pills left. They've run out again upstairs.
Put a few aside for me, will you? And above all, leave the wheels where they are.
Good God. What could this machine be used for?
According to his record, the patient seems to be suffering from psychosis. He gouged his own eyes out in an attack of delirium. Hey, Placenta. Welcome on in. We're actually reading some Lovecraft currently. I've never actually read any of his work before, but I've seen things adapted from it, or things that are inspired by it, and one of the big ones for me was John Carpenter's In the Mouth of Madness movie that he did in '95. But I also really like this game as well. I was having a look at the other games based on Call of Cthulhu, and there's two others. There's one, Dark Corners of the Earth, I think, and then there's a one even before that, which is a point-and-click game, I think it is. So I wouldn't mind exploring those games in the future.
What is going on here? Is there a connection between this corpse and the machine? The corpse is complete. Whose are these limbs? Worse and worse. What's the connection between this meat and the electrical installation? Vats of rotten flesh? An elaborate electrical system? Like a dumb pulp novel. Do the cops know what's going on?
This bloodstained badge belongs to a Darkwater police officer. What was he doing in the cellars of the Riverside Institute? Was sent to Mouth of Madness as part of Carpenter's Apocalypse trilogy along with The Thing and Prince of Darkness. That's true. Yeah, a trilogy of movies that are related because they deal with the end of the world, very bleak, dire situations for humanity overall, and things like that. Yeah, I'm a big fan of John Carpenter's work.
It's an ammeter. I didn't expect to see one on this little rock. This machine seems to consume a great deal of electricity. What will happen if I increase the current to the limit?
Rosie, you love those movies. They're really, really good. It's definitely a great collection of movies to watch back to back as well. Hey there, Whiskey. Good morning to you. How's it going?
Burns me. I will not eat it anymore. Never again. We must not.
Have I activated anything?
They must know that it is not good.
One, two, three, four, 5, 6. No, not 6. 4, 5. Just got a few days to go. Yeah, that's it. 4 days at most. No more. Perhaps less. I think I got the right date. My calculations are always right. It's the day.
Whiskey, good but tired. You can sleep another hour, but you got to make that money. That's totally fair. That is for sure. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that you're going good. Hopefully, you'll have a good day and you'll be able to rest and get some good sleep later.
You there!
A bet there's no longer any priests on Darkwater.
Rosary. I found this rosary in one of the cells in the cellars of the Riverside Institute. Its representation of the Virgin looks like nothing I've ever seen.
What is welling up inside me? I feel it in my head and in my body. He roars and swells and has strength of oceans. Its waves rise and crash, leaving behind them only a trail of white, nourishing foam. He is my master. He enters me. Yes, 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 yes.
Get me out! Don't let me sleep in here.
Not catch me. If he does not catch me, I do not sleep. If I do not sleep, I do not see him. I do not hear him. He does not call me. He does not call. He calls me. If I walk, I do not stop. If I do not stop, I catch him. If I catch him, I sleep. If I sleep, am I dead?
Hey Ghostface, thank you for redeeming all those. How's things going? Alright, so I've got a movie quote, a horror movie quote. It's your disbelief that powers him. Your stubborn faith in common sense. It allows his deception. He lives in the smallest parts of it, in the atoms, smaller, invisible. He lives in all of it, in the sum of its parts. We must translate this book. You must prove it scientifically to convince the outside world. The outside world doesn't want to hear this kind of bullshit. Just keep it locked away. You've already managed that for 2,000 years. No prison can hold him now. That's from Prince of Darkness, directed by John Carpenter. When I go, I hope they cover my grave with roses. When I die, I just want to be buried with friends. Me too, with friends or with family. I don't think it matters more than that. What about you, Arthur? Me? I don't care about that nonsense. Come on. Face me to the west, so I can watch the setting sun and remember all the fine times we had that way. See, Tilly, I told you Arthur had a soul. We'll never get close to him in the middle of all this. We'd best retire and wait for a better opportunity. Still thinking like an assassin. This time, I have the plan. Oh, and what would that be? Think like a Templar. And that's from Assassin's Creed Unity. Thanks for redeeming those.
Christoph, let me ask you. Why do you think that Truman has never come close to discovering the true nature of his world until now? We accept the reality of the world with which we're presented. It's as simple as that.
What's that from, Casper? Thanks for redeeming it. Ghostface, pretty good. Excellent, that's good to hear. I'm glad that you're going well. As for me, I'm doing good. I finished my playthrough of Vampire earlier, got that done, and decided to do a playthrough of this where at certain points I put a poll in chat for people to decide what to do. Oh, so it's from the Truman Show, Lucinda and Casper. I gotcha, yeah. Yeah, I've only seen that once, very long time ago, probably 1999 when I saw it last. Casper, do you think you'll be able to finish this tomorrow? Maybe, but I've also got Monday and Tuesday next week. But whatever happens with whatever games I'm playing, I must finish whatever game I'm playing before Wednesday, because Wednesday is when the remasters of Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3 come out.
You. Yeah, you there. Come here. I don't know what you're doing there, but you don't seem to be friends with the nurses. I can help you. Help me, and I'll owe you one.
What do you want?
Sleep. That's all.
Sleep? You don't want to leave?
No. Have you seen the storm that's brewing? I'm fine here. Except for one problem.
You want sleeping pills, right?
Yeah. And in exchange, I can make noise. Lots of noise.
You'll draw the guards to your cell to allow me to escape.
So, you in? Find something to make me sleep, and I'll take care of the guards for you.
I'll find you some pills.
Go look in the storage room. There must be sleeping pills there.
Ghostface, did you ever watch the Saw franchise, or at least the first one? Just the first two, and that was back when they came out. So I don't really remember too much about them, and I haven't seen all the others that came out since then, though. Lucinda, okay, Rod, it's time for you to get your day started. Hope you have a great rest of your stream. Thank you, Lucinda. I definitely will. Thanks for popping in. Muchly appreciated. I hope that you have a great start to your stream. Would like to highly recommend people check out Lucinda's channel if you haven't before. Currently doing a playthrough of Assassin's Creed Valhalla as her primary game. Secondary game is Dishonored, playing through the trilogy, and alternates between the primary and secondary games from week to week. So this week it's Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and the next week it'll be back to Dishonored. We'll also be playing through Mirage as well, and also planning a playthrough of Red Dead Redemption 2. Also a big fan of the Resident Evil series, as well as franchises like The Last of Us, Dying Light, and The Evil Within. A great streamer with a great channel and some really cool emotes as well. So highly recommend checking out Lucinda's channel if you haven't before. That's okay, Lucinda. Absolutely no trouble at all for the shout out. Always more than happy to give you one. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope you have a great start to running amok in England in the 800s, I think it is. Somewhere between 800 and 900. going a Viking. Yeah, Ghostface, I remember the final scene of the first one, the big twist, which I never saw coming. I was completely blindsided by that twist. Did not expect it at all. Thought that was really clever. Listen, it'd be funny to address times like that back then. It'd be like saying something happened between the year 1900 and 2000. It would be, actually. It's like, yeah, there was this video game released in somewhere between 1900 and 2000. It's like, yeah, that narrows it down. And there's many of us who can say, yep, I was born back in the 1900s.
We got a walker!
Where do they keep their sleeping pills?
Small bottle of sleeping pills, probably used on patients who have trouble sleeping to find slumber.
My new friend's sleeping pills.
Is there anybody around here?
It's done. Now for the others.
Ghostface, it was the coolest thing you've seen in a while. I recently watched it and it was really cool. Everything is explained when the music kicks in and the door slams. It was instantly iconic when you saw it. Yeah. Yeah, it's just a great moment of, editing and timing of music and just, yeah. It was just one of those very memorable endings.
I've got what you want.
Show me!
Alright, so this is something that I'm going to leave up to chat to decide. It's been a while since we had a poll. Alright, 1 minute on this to vote whether we give them to him or not. Ghostface, you also only watched the first 2 so far, but hopefully they will keep you interested. Yeah, can't really speak on the ones after 2. But I think the syringe scene in number 2 is the one that I remember the most from that movie. I can't really remember any other parts of it though. Okay, so giving the sleeping pills wins.
There. And remember, they don't come for free.
Don't you worry, you'll have your diversion. Go on now, go hide yourself. The crows! They're everywhere! Make them go away! Help!
Shut up. Dr. Fuller warned us it was just a sham. We won't be had again. Your little birds won't bring you any sleeping pills this time.
You believe that?
What carnage. Theoretically, I've only got one lever to push.
Macabre discovery. Searching through the cellars of the Riverside Institute, Pierce entered a room that he first took for a morgue, but the advanced state of decay of the corpses that lay about the place quickly made him realize that he was wrong. Nothing could justify the presence of such a charnel house in a hospital. The putrid smell and the total absence of respect for human life, as witnessed by this room, profoundly shocked Pierce, costing him some of his sanity. Ghostface, when you think about playing in the Horizon games, will you play them back to back or give them time and space in between? Not too sure, Ghostface, to be honest. It kind of depends. Depends on how I feel, because sometimes I can just jump straight into a follow-up, but sometimes I do need to take a break, so it really depends on the game and how long it took me to get through it and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, and you know what? My shift is over. You can go to sleep or keep on screaming. It's no longer my problem.
You there! This way!
Something over
I can still increase the load.
I think we gotta walk. Hey!
All the levers are activated. That should draw the attention of the guards. I should hide.
Damn it! What's going on? Is there somebody? I'll let Fuller know. I bet he'll blame us.
Doctor, is that you?
Don't you worry about the doctor. Right now, he'll have plenty to keep him busy with his precious machine. It gives us time to get away. I'll undo you.
Get away? Get away where? I can't go anywhere. It'll find me, like it found me here. You're mistaken about the beast. Don't stay with me, or you'll end up the same way.
You're Sanders, aren't you? I heard you from my cell. What did they do to you? What does Fuller want with you?
The doctor? You think it's the doctor who scares me? The doctor wants to heal me. But he's the one who's crazy. He wants to restore my sight. He wants to give me back my eyes. And yet I told him that I didn't want him. I do not want to see it anymore. The real culprit is Sarah. Her and her accursed paintings.
You're kidding me. You're talking about Sarah Hawkins.
The one and only. The legendary. There is no artist more enlightened or cursed than Sarah Hawkins.
In her office, I saw signs of a ritual, perhaps an invocation. These things, that's what makes you say she's cursed.
You're wrong. It was not an invocation, but a revocation. But she failed. And that's what counts.
What's going on this island?
I'm so sorry. We should never have met.
What are you talking about?
Destiny! It has trapped you. No, don't let it see you, or you won't be able to escape it. Don't look at it. That's how it finds you.
What finds me?
Sarah Hawkins' visitor. The Shambler.
Sanders, pull yourself together.
Without her, it's no longer possible to save me. No!
Sanders! What the hell? Oh, God. I gotta... What?
This is insane.
What killed him?
Ghostface, you played it with space between as you didn't have the money, but you also bought it after a while and for the reason you just wanted to play more of that Horizon formula. But a lot of the time, if you play games back to back, you get burnt out and it ruins the experience, as is a similar formula. That definitely can happen, and that's the worst thing that you can have happen to a game, even one that you enjoy, when you get burnt out on it, because it can make you not be in the same frame of mind that you would be if you weren't burnt out, and that can affect how you sort of like perceive a game for the first time too, because you might be more exhausted already by the thought of doing certain things in the game that as you come across each one, you don't give them the same attention in the same way that you would normally. Mona, thank you so very much for the 24 months in a row. Thank you, thank you. That's excellent, Mona. Thank you so, so much. Time flies, huh? That's awesome of you to do. Thank you so very much. How's things going for you today?
Damn! The gas! Oh, my head.
Later. We need to move on.
Mona, yet another busy day at work, but at least it's consistent. Oh yeah, absolutely. That's the good thing. If it's consistent, definitely helps a lot. Well, I hope that you didn't have too much of that work day left, but that's good to hear, Mona. I'm glad to hear that. Things are going well for me. Having a good day. It's actually Friday here now. It just ticked over about 37 minutes ago, but doing well. I wanted to do a playthrough of this game again, and this time around I decided to do a viewer choice for certain moments, because I've gotten all the endings before, and I was thinking of some way to play through the game that is different than what I normally have done, so I decided upon that. So some decisions don't really affect the ending, but there are ones that do. So it'll be interesting to see when we get to the end of the game which endings are available to us, and then which ones we actually go with, or which one we go with. Chapter 6, The Hawkins Mansion. Pierce woke up in an asylum, installed in the cellars of the Riverside Institute. He met Dr. Colden, a female friend of Bradley, who helped him to escape. Wandering through the corridors of this place, where Dr. Fuller reigned supreme, Pierce was able to talk to a man called Francis Sanders. Before dying, in full view of the detective, he accused Sarah Hawkins of being the cause of his torments. Pierce finally left the accursed building, accompanied by Bradley and Colden. The companions in misfortune decide to use the Hawkins mansion as a hideout. Ghostface, you tried to play back-to-back with the Ezio games, but got burnt out at the start of Brotherhood, but you enjoyed Brotherhood when you went back to it. Well, that's good that you actually went back to it, and by that time, you weren't burnt out anymore, and that would have definitely helped it being an enjoyable experience. Yeah, Mona, I think this is my 6th playthrough of this game overall. I really, really like it. And the good thing about it is, like, different choices, different things that people do, helps keep the game fresh on different playthroughs.
Who goes there? That nightmare again. I need a drink.
That man is toying with their lives.
Who knows what he could do if what you say is true?
That is precisely why I'll find evidence.
Fine, do what you want. I'm just trying to reason with you.
Hey, Twisted Clouds, thank you so very much for raiding. Thank you for that. That's awesome. Thank you very much. Hey there, Barnes. How's things? Hey, Twisted. How's things going? Thank you, everyone, for joining. So how is Skull and Bones? How'd you find it? Twisted, things are awesome? Excellent, that's good. I hope you had a great stream. I hope you enjoyed... Oh, the game's good. I've played this a few times now, and I've gotten all the endings. So this time around I wanted to do something a bit different, and certain choices in the game, I put a Twitch poll up to decide what to do. So some choices do go towards what ending you might be able to get, but there's some choices that don't. But I'm also including those ones too. But yeah, if you like games with a bit of mystery to it, if you're a fan of first-person sort of like horror, mystery, adventure games, if you like RPGs and things like that, dialogue choices, all that kind of stuff, it's really good. I'd say the only sort of thing that brings it down a little bit, for me at least, but doesn't ruin it at all, is the animations. This came out in 2018, and some of the animations for the characters are a bit sort of like low level to mid level quality in comparison to other games, even other games that came out the same year that weren't as as big as games like Red Dead Redemption 2, for example, or God of War. But yeah, it's a good game if you like those kinds of ones.
You're awake, Mr. Pierce. How do you feel?
Did I sleep long?
The day is only starting. It's fine.
Twisted, is this a console game or PC? It's actually available on console and PC as well. The version I'm playing is the PlayStation 5 one. Although I don't think it's been optimized for I don't think it's been upgraded for PlayStation 5. But it's probably the PS4 version, but I'm playing it on a PS5.
How's our fugitive? Dr. Fuller hasn't reported your disappearance to the Force, but that'll come soon.
Bradley?
Who else would it be?
Mr. Pierce, are you all right? You look like you saw a ghost.
There are things I can't explain.
Tell us. What happened?
I have flashbacks. They haunt me.
What did they do to you?
There was that Dr. Fuller and a nurse. Blood everywhere. My legs, the pain, I couldn't bear it. I was screaming. They injected me with something. I woke up at the Institute. Bradley was there.
And how you scared us. You seemed demented.
You likely woke up during the anesthesia. No wonder those memories haunt you. What in God's name were they doing to you?
What happened afterwards?
When I woke up the second time, I was in a padded cell. That's where you found me, Doctor. After you released me, I got a good look at what's in store for the patients of the Riverside Institute. Hallucinogenic gas pumped into the cells. An infernal machine. Horrific medical experiments.
Impossible. Dr. Fuller would never do such a thing.
You should believe it, Ethan. What Mr. Pierce saw is precisely what I've been trying to prove. Did you discover anything else?
Yeah, Twisted. If you're a fan of H.P. Lovecraft stuff as well, it's also good. I haven't read his stuff myself, but there's been movies that I've really liked that have been inspired or based on his stuff. In the Mouth of Madness is one of them that I've seen. I do remember one with Jeffrey Combs in it called Necronomicon. I think that's the only title for it. But it was kind of weird. I think it was like a anthology in one movie or something. It's been a long time since I saw it.
I met a Francis Sanders. Do you know him?
Of course. He's a patient. Or was. I haven't seen him since Dr. Fuller had him transferred to the basement.
He knew Sarah Hawkins, and that's what killed him.
What? How did he die?
I'm not sure I can explain it.
Tell me how Mr. Sanders died.
I didn't see what, but something was there with us.
Of what do you speak?
Sanders said it was Sarah Hawkins' visitor. He spoke of it like a living being.
Sarah Hawkins? Have I missed something here? This makes no sense. I don't see how it can help crack the Hawkins case.
You really think she's involved? How could she have murdered Mr. Sanders?
Francis Sanders mentioned Mrs. Hawkins just before dying. It's no coincidence.
You know, Francis Sanders was a well-known art collector. I guess you can still pay a visit to his wife, Irene Sanders.
An art collector, you say? That's probably how they met.
If you plan on having dinner at the Sanders household, please spare the widow the tale of her late husband's suffering.
I don't agree. She deserves the truth.
But that truth may be biased. We don't know the bottom of it.
All right. This is actually a choice I'm going to put a poll up for. And there's 1 minute on that. Twisted, that's great. You do polls. You actually have a coin you flip. Oh, that's a cool method too. That'd be so cool too if you were playing like, I've never played it myself, but that Batman Telltale games where you have to choose things. Just do a coin flip, especially if there are any moments with Two-Face. But yeah, I like to do it from time to time. Sometimes I do it with games that I don't necessarily want to do it for every choice, but you know, just every now and again. Oh, is it really Twisted? That's what you're actually playing. Oh, nice. Yeah, I haven't actually played that one before. I've played a few of their games, but not heaps though. So Truth won the poll, 3 votes to 1.
He's right. We can't ignore the truth.
But it could drive her mad.
Better madness than ignorance. Very well. I'll go to see Francis's widow. Perhaps I'll find a link between her husband's death and Sarah Hawkins.
Don't end up in the hospital this time.
I'll do my best.
Let us go now and learn the truth about what's happening on this island.
The other night's events are still confused in my head.
Let us go now and learn the truth about what's happening on this island.
Twisted, you've been playing an episode a night. Oh, that's a good way to do it. That's definitely a good way. Hawkins Manor. I finally reached the stairs that led to the first floor of the Riverside Institute, but on the way I inhaled some gas that was leaking from a damaged pipe and I passed out. I remember Bradley, alive, really, who was talking to me, and I came to in the Hawkins mansion. I must understand what I'm doing here and what happens next. The Sanders and Sarah Hawkins were close, it's undeniable. The widow didn't tell me everything, but her house speaks for her. Everything began with Francis Sanders' obsession with the Shambler, an exceptional painting in more ways than one. In theory, Francis Sanders was a renowned art collector. I must question his widow, Irene Sanders, to know more about his links with Sarah Hawkins and to discover the identity of the visitor he talked about before he died. Chapter 6, Sanders' Residence. Pierce, Colden, and Bradley decided to team up to solve the Sarah Hawkins case. They have a new trail to follow. Francis Sanders, an art collector and friend of the painter who died right in front of Pierce. The detective goes to his house in order to speak to his widow about the Shambler that the unfortunate man mentioned before he died.
What can I do for you, sir?
Mrs. Sanders? I'm a private detective. We must talk about your husband and his ties to Sarah Hawkins. Can I come in?
You may. However, before we go any further, please know that my husband died yesterday.
That is precisely what brings me here.
Well, well, look who's here.
You know each other?
We met briefly. Time enough to iron out a few matters. The main thing is that we understood one another. The brave detective has a talent for sticking his nose into my business.
I bump into her every time I'm investigating someone's death.
It's a small island, Detective. My island. It's better that it's you bumping into me.
You're investigating Francis' death. Why? Who hired you?
I spoke to Francis before he died. His story suggests a link to a case I'm working on.
Well, since this business has got nothing to do with me, I'll be in your husband's office, Irene. We'll carry on later.
Very well, Miss Baker. This way, Mr. Pierce. And do make yourself comfortable. It would seem that you have much to tell me. May I inquire as to when you had the opportunity to talk to my husband?
Yesterday. I met him at the hospital. He spoke to me about Sarah Hawkins.
Oh, of course he spoke to you about her. That's all he talked about. Sarah Hawkins and her paintings. Please forgive my tone. The fact is that I have not been allowed to see him since he was interned. You, on the other hand, a perfect stranger, were able to see him and even talk with him the day he died. How was he? Were you present when he had this attack? What happened?
Alright, so based on the fact that we chose to tell the truth, I'm going to make my choices go towards anything that is telling her the truth. This is one of those situations where even though I could choose what I want in this part, except for this because we don't have enough psychology, even though I could choose whichever one I want, when there's like a poll choice to be a certain way towards a certain character, I'd rather make sure that any choices afterwards that I can make myself actually match that. So we won't choose "you're taking it quite well" or "I was no longer there when it happened," because that's obviously lying. This isn't lying. This is lying. This isn't lying, but this is stronger to say, and stronger because it is the truth. He did die screaming, and it was right before Edward's eyes.
He started raving, screaming that a dimensional shambler had found him.
Oh, mercy, that story again. Why have him interned?
That was when he began to convulse and twist with pain. Or terror, it's hard to tell.
I beg your pardon?
I'm not really sure of what I saw, or what I didn't see. But it's best that you weren't there.
I should have been there. What you're telling me is outrageous. I need to understand. How could this happen? In a reputed institute? And right before your eyes. Did you not do anything to help him?
I share your grief, but I had nothing to do with it. I mean, that is true. It's not like Pierce put him there, or Pierce was the one who did to him what happened. I'll still go with that. I still think that matches telling the truth. Because just because we were present in front of Francis Sanders when that happened doesn't mean that it's us, because it's the Shambler. The Shambler is the thing that attacked him, so...
Mrs. Sanders, I understand your grief, and I extend my deepest condolences to you. But I had nothing to do with the death of your husband. I've just arrived on Darkwater. I'm investigating the death of the Hawkins family.
The death of the Hawkins family? You mean it was not an accident? This accursed island knows only tragedy after tragedy. You too would be advised to flee it like the plague. Oh, I'm tired, Mr. Pierce. I would be grateful if you could tell me what you expect of me, and then leave.
Did your husband talk to you about Sarah Hawkins' visitor? A shambler, to use his precise terms.
Well, you can imagine that's all he talked about. It's exhibited at the center of the gallery. No better place for the painting that endowed him with the privilege of such a shameful and miserable end to his life.
Hold on. The Shambler is a painting by Sarah Hawkins.
Who else to paint such horrors? Take a look for yourself, if you feel so inclined.
It is my only lead at this stage. I suppose I have nothing to lose.
Then you have paid no heed. For my part, I refuse to set foot in that gallery again. But if you're so eager to see it, I would urge you to make the most of your visit. Because I count on ridding myself of that thing as soon as I can.
Thank you, Mrs. Sanders. I won't be long. The day the Shambler came into the Sanders' lives.
A photograph of Sarah Hawkins next to the Sanders. They must be close.
A house of artists. Francis Sanders and Sarah Hawkins were close. Friends, even? Sanders' accession register. He wrote beside the Shambler, "Finally." What did Sarah Hawkins fear so much that she didn't want to sell the painting? He finally won. Was Sanders aware of his imminent doom? She first refused to sell the painting. How did that make her feel? Was she jealous of Sarah Hawkins?
Ah!
The Shambler. I need to see it.
The Shambler is a painting. Irene Sanders doesn't seem to know what she hates the most, Sarah Hawkins or her work. The fact remains that she accuses her of costing her husband's sanity. He apparently gouged his own eyes out under the influence of the painting. I must see it. The key to the gallery is probably in the office. The Sanders and Sarah Hawkins were close. It's undeniable. The widow didn't tell me everything, but her house speaks for her. Everything began with Francis Sanders' obsession with the Shambler, an exceptional painting in more ways than one. The death of Francis Sanders. The weirdness of Francis Sanders' death went far beyond anything Pierce had ever seen. Lifted off his feet by an invisible force, the poor man's body was carried into the air before being thrown violently against the bars of his hiding place. Pierce, powerless, watched the limbs break and Sanders' body crumble to the ground. During long moments of agony, the detective saw nothing that could explain this event. Weakened by his wounds and the operations he could remember undergoing, Pierce begins to question his ability to tell the difference between reality and the nightmares that haunt him. Hey Zereth, why do you always end up raiding channels you're watching? It's a good question. Welcome on in, Zereth. How's things been going? Good to see you. At the Sanders, cross-checking the information given by Francis Sanders and his widow, it is possible to reconstruct the events that led to the internment of Sanders. Everything points to Sanders and Sarah Hawkins being close, linked at least by the interest the collector showed in the artist's work, but more probably by a certain friendship. Attested to by the repeated refusals of Sarah Hawkins to sell the painting called The Shambler. Against all expectation, she finally gave it away for free. The feelings still shown by Irene Sanders towards Sarah Hawkins are evidently derived from what she considers to be the artist's responsibility. Madness struck Sanders a short while after he gained possession of the painting. You've been lurking and napping, Zereth? Well, thank you for all the lurking that you've been doing, and hope you've been getting some good rest.
Let's see what this cylinder has to say once it's inserted in a phonograph.
An audio recording that Francis Sanders left for his wife Irene.
Irene, I made a mistake. I fear that it might be too late for me. Nobody should enter, except to burn everything. I never had the courage. Pay somebody to do it. He's inside my head. I see him behind my eyelids each time I shut my eyes. I can't take any more. I can't hold him back. Forgive me.
That accursed gallery. Those accursed paintings, that accursed Sarah.
I could use one of those.
I found these sleeping pills in the Sanders house. Were they prescribed to Francis Sanders or to Irene? No, they were prescribed to me, myself, and Irene.
A strange Amerindian pendant.
An ancient amulet, probably Amerindian. I wonder what its purpose could be. The Whale and the Cod, or A Brief History of Darkwater, by Erwin Greenmouth. It is focused on the past glory of the island.
Strange. For months, Sarah Hawkins refused to part with her painting, to finally give it away for nothing.
Dear Francis, I beg you to give up all hope of ever owning this accursed painting. If our friendship has any meaning for you, please spare me the weight of guilt. I cannot be the architect of your fall. I beg you, my dear friend, forget the Shambler. Your friend, Sarah Hawkins.
Another volume of the Reverend's wife's diary.
This volume spends some time on Reverend Wickwood's community. His wife expresses her worries about the strange dreams that the Reverend's congregation are having since their arrival on the island. Some members of the community, her husband included, began to speak of their vision as a messenger sent by God. She is scared that they will suffer the same fate as the lost tribe. key to the Sanders Gallery. It is the work of a student in book form. Although the observations are relevant, they lack the expertise of an experienced physician. However, the questions asked allow us to imagine new ways of exploring human anatomy. Alright, so here is a choice that I'm going to put a poll up for 1 minute. This is one of the things that does actually influence, I guess, if not the ending, certain aspects that go towards endings, I guess. Read the book or don't read the book. Alright, and the result is 3 for read and 0 for don't. It is a kind of encyclopedia of monstrous and unknown creatures. I'm beginning to believe that they exist.
That's twice you've stepped on my toes, Detective. Try not to make a habit of it.
I've got a lot of bad habits.
Some can be more fatal than others. What have you come looking for in this gallery?
I'm not here to cause trouble, if that's what's worrying you.
Worry me? Don't overestimate yourself. If the last beating wasn't enough for you, I can always give it another go. But as long as you keep out of my way, you're free to carry on with your visit.
And you? What brings you to the Sanders home?
I'm here on business. Irene asked me to liquidate all these paintings. She doesn't intend to hang around here for long.
Why you?
Believe it or not, there aren't many collectors on Darkwater. It needs someone with a network and a means of transport to the mainland. A choice that comes down to Fitzroy and me. And I'm far more pleasant, wouldn't you say? Not now, sweetheart. I'd like to read this without some snoop looking over my shoulder.
Why was he so interested in old weapons? The man transformed an entire wing of his manor into an art gallery. Is this dagger part of Sanders' collection, or was he seeking to acquire it?
Far from possessing the talents of Sarah Hawkins, Sanders drew a dagger with a tortured form down to the smallest detail. The guard carries a strange esoteric symbol, a recurring feature of his correspondence with Sarah.
What the hell was that? Damn. This dagger looks different.
You sure you won't be needing that hand? You're losing it, Detective. At this rate, you're right. The bottle will get you before I do.
You didn't see anything.
I saw you within an inch of putting a dagger through your forearm. Did I miss something more interesting?
It's nothing. I think I just drank too much.
That goes without saying. If you can't tell the difference between reality and fiction, then you're in real trouble.
I ran, screamed, broke a pane of glass. You were in the next room and you didn't hear a thing.
If I hadn't heard a thing, I'd still be in the other room. The door was blocked. I got in as soon as I could. I like to look after my goods.
You mean me?
Don't flatter yourself, sweetheart. I'm talking about the contents of this gallery. And by the way, where do you think you're going with that dagger?
It saved my life. It's an extraordinary dagger.
You should talk to Algernon Drake. He's an antique dealer here on Darkwater. He'll tell you all about it. From what I saw in the ledgers, it was him who sold it to Sanders.
This symbol on the dagger, it was all over Sanders' cell. It's what protected him. It's what protected me, too. If Hawkins was trying to get rid of this shambler, she might have made contact with Drake. This antique dealer has a good knowledge of the occult. I have nothing to lose by meeting him.
You've got your spunk back. Go where you want. I'm staying here to talk business with Irene.
Hey Zayas, never played this one before? This is my 6th playthrough, I think. Chapter 7, The Nameless Bookstore. The Shambler turned out to be much more than an artwork painted by Sarah Hawkins, as a huge creature came out of the painting to attack Pierce. After a hard fight, the detective managed to send it back into the painting. He later discovered that the dagger he used to repel the creature had been sold to Sanders by a man named Algernon Drake, owner of the Nameless Bookstore. Pierce decides to pay the library a visit. And this is where I'm going to be ending this stream. And I'll be continuing this playthrough tomorrow, which for me will be Friday. It might still be Thursday for some people. But if you see me streaming this game again, then you know it's become Friday. I plan to finish the game in tomorrow's stream. Some of these chapters are short, Some are a bit longer than others, but I'm pretty sure I'll be able to finish the rest of the game tomorrow. But I just want to thank everyone so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. When I stream this again, what we just saw will actually be able to be recapped as well. But we'll go to the main menu, and I'll just double check that the save has actually saved at the point that I've expected. Yep, cool. And we're going to go and raid Lucinda, who was in here before. Lucinda's playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Skip that, and then go back to the menu. There we go. Thank you again, Twisted, for that raid. Muchly appreciated. And no worries, Mona. Thank you, everyone, for being here and for watching. Just want to give some shout outs. Nope, got shins wrong. He might have an underscore somewhere. Ah, I wonder why. Underscores between each word. There we go. That's much better. Would like to highly recommend people check out Crocodiles, who's playing games like Forza Horizon 5. He's also doing a playthrough of The Witcher 3 on the hardest mode with no HUD and playing Geralt as an evil greedy bastard in his decisions. and he's also doing a playthrough of the Assassin's Creed series. He's up to Assassin's Creed Unity. He's doing those without a HUD and without any fast travel, and also limited looks at the maps. Also highly recommend checking out Mr. Gote. Plays games like Mortal Kombat 11, as well as horror games like Dead Space, the Outlast games, the supermassive horror games Until Dawn, the Dark Pictures series, and The Quarry as well. Also highly recommend checking out Lidus. He does a lot of retro stuff. He plays retro series like the old school Mortal Kombat games, Street Fighter, Tekken, Streets of Rage, as well as the Resident Evil series. Also highly recommend checking out Twisted Clouds. They're doing a stream of the game Skull and Bones. Highly recommend checking out Shin the Ninja Penguin. He's playing through Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Also plays games like Cyberpunk 2077, as well as JRPGs and MMORPGs as well. So highly recommend checking out those streamers if you haven't before. Zayas, you always show up at the end. That's no worries at all, Zayas. Thank you so very much for joining, though. Muchly appreciated. Brutus, thanks for the stream. See you next time. You definitely will, Brutus. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you again for being here, and no worries for the stream. Zayas, you finally did the Alan Wake musical. It was good stuff. Oh, hell yeah. That is such a great sort of sequence as well. So much went into that, like, holy shit. It definitely was good stuff, that's for sure. This is a general raid message that people can feel free to use. Here is one with some free follower emotes attached as well. And that's one that subscribers can use. Alright, so that's the current schedule. Call of Cthulhu is for the rest of the week. On the weekend is Red Dead Redemption 2. Most recently finished my first playthrough of Vampire, and the next stream of this will be when it's Friday for me. I'll probably be finishing it tomorrow, which then would mean that the Monday to Friday game would become something else. But whatever it is, I need to get things cleared so that on Wednesday I can jump straight into the remasters of Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3. So from the 14th of February onwards, the Monday to Friday slot would become Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3, the remastered versions. But whatever game I do between this one and the Tomb Raider games is unknown at the moment, just depends on the timing. Just want to thank everyone so much for watching, really appreciate it. Here's a link to my YouTube channel as well, where I export all the VODs. I exported all my VODs from last year, and I'm doing the same this year as well. So a lot of videos over there's like, I think 500 or more. But thanks again everyone for watching. I hope everyone has a good one, and catch you next time.